Hey, what's up? Welcome to another broadcast of TC the G Radio. I'm your host, your girl, TC the G, broadcasting directly from Tijuana, Baja California. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have a great time. The topic of conversation for this broadcast is colorism. So let's dive right into the conversation. So, colorism. When I think of colorism, I also I think it kind of ties pretty much kind of like the last episode when we were talking about colonization. I think it has a lot to do with, that whole thing that happened that took place, those events when the Europeans came and obviously they brought their God with them, which looked like them, and they started shoving it down the natives' throats, and telling them that that's the real God and this is the one you need to worship because if not, curses and all this other stuff, and they were claiming themselves to be gods, and after that it became kind of like a supremacy kind of thing. White people are on top and everybody else is not. The lighter you are, the more royal you are. They saw skin like the skin color as dirtiness, right? They even had those crazy commercials back in the 60s, back in those days when there was like even they were selling like soaps to like become like more lighter skinned, and we still kind of have that happening now, like some celebrities that still sell like skin bleaching cream, like Black China and all these other celebrities. I'm not sure if Gucci Mane's wife also does it, something Cure or something, but I'm not sure. But for sure, Black China, she even had like a brand of skin bleaching cream, and it's very prominent in other places like in Asia. A lot of Asian countries, they bleach their skin, and a lot of the bleaching cream is like on the black market. It's undercover because it has a lot of poison and like materials that are not good for the skin, very bad for the skin. So chemicals and stuff, dangerous. You can die. So it's a very sad thing, I think, because it's like a mind trick. People actually have fallen into believing that their skin really tells them their worth, and I guess it has a lot to do with all this conditioning that we've gone through and mind control of kind of, not maybe not mind control, but like gaslighting. And since we don't have the emotional intelligence to really figure out, like slaves, because they also enslaved natives. It wasn't just black people. They took our land, and they still took our people, killed us, slaughtered us in our own land. And you know it's very unfortunate that it's still going on, and it's still a trend to be lighter skin, because none of that really matters. We're all human. And there's even a scientific article that says that humans, we cannot differentiate between ourselves as races, like black race, white race, Hispanic. And another thing, Hispanic and Latino, that's not even accurate. This is not even something that you should be calling us. That's more like Latino and Hispanic. These are like words that are used to group us into one group for marketing. This is how they sell the products to us. They have placed us all into this Hispanic, Latino kind of branch. But in reality, there's no such thing. It's just a culture. Our roots are native. And of course, we're mixed with other things, right? If we had a European ancestors who came in, I don't know, did horrible things to one of our, I don't know, ancestors too, and then a baby came about, and now we have the white in us as well, right? And there was also some natives that were so dark as well, that were kind of black. So in reality, the only differences that there is or are in all of us are the ones that we make ourselves. Because like I said, even in those studies that they've made, we don't have enough differentiation in our DNA as through the skin to make us a different race. We're all one human race. The black race, white race, that is not really true. It's not really true. We don't have enough differences to be called races. Like a dog, there's different races for dogs. Chihuahua, right? Those are the tiny ones, right? We don't have races in humans. We're all the same. Only our skin color changes. Just the same way that you can have a black Chihuahua, you can have a white Chihuahua. It's still the same race. It's just different color, but it's the same race. And I think also, being racist is also like a weapon. Like you feel some kind of power with it, right? And this is like, to me, it seems kind of pathetic that you will be so power hungry that you are willing to hurt all these people or even call them racist names or do all these things to them just so you can take advantage of them. Like, that's crazy. That's insane. That's really insane. Those are insane actions. And it's just something that shouldn't really be happening anymore. We need to move past that because we're all human and we're one family. And the more we separate ourselves, like I mentioned it before as well, the weaker we are. We are strong in numbers. If we want to survive, if we want to take our power back as people, we need to stick together. We can no longer be doing all this separation and Black Lives Matter and this lives matter. All lives matter, my boy. Everyone's lives matter. Everyone's. It's not even about that anymore either. That's why they keep us distracted. It's about the rich and the poor. They just have us distracted now with races. They don't care about that though no more. To some extent, I guess. But it's all about the money though. It's all about the money. And of course, usually the ones with the most money are white people. Franklin Roosevelt, that president, he was one of the first millionaires. How did he make his millions? Do you guys know? He made it selling opium. All the rich people, their richness came from some kind of exploitation. Something was done corruptly. Of course, things should not go to a communism kind of way because it seems like, that kind of takes the power away from people as well. It's a very tricky line about government. And I think I'm kind of going off topic because we were talking about colorism. But, it kind of all ties together anyway. And we need to stand up for what's right every single time and not tolerate racism or anybody, doing those kind of things to other people, putting them down, not giving them a job, and et cetera, et cetera. And this problem, the racism problem, is not just something that happens, black and white. It also happens like within our own quote unquote Hispanic Latino communities. Even within ourselves, we call it that. The lighter you are, the better. Even in the Mexican families, if you're dark, it's not good. You're dark. It's like the same thing as a black person would try to describe. The same thing. Everybody in the world, it's a nation, global, it's a global problem. It's not just something that happens in America and that nobody else understands, but white and black people. Trust me, everybody understands because this is a global issue. A global issue. Everybody understands. And I think at the same time, so people like to no, this is our issue, only us. Like they kind of make it like a prideful thing, I don't think we're at a point where we can be that prideful. The government is doing all this crazy shit, it's not really the time to be feeling so prideful. It's time to come together and build a community within ourselves and stand up for what's right. Because if you just look at TV, you can see, they're programming society in that way. Everything that they're showing on TV, it's a model to what the outside world is coming to be. And we need to stop it because it's not a good picture. It's definitely not a good picture. And sometimes I do believe that sometimes we need to, sometimes, we're asking for help and sometimes Maybe it's not in the best way, like, all these rappers and some of them that come out and they're like depressed and all this stuff, right? Which I understand is understandable, and it's not to like say that their pain is not valid. It is valid, of course, but we do need to understand that at the same time they're glamorizing it. They're glamorizing this life. And it's not to be glamorized. It's something to fix, something that we need to work on, not something to build a career on and be successful on. That sounds like death. That doesn't sound like life. And another thing about like how religion ties into this, like Jesus Christ, we have this picture of Jesus as a white man, yet he was a person that lived in the desert. So obviously, if you live in the desert, you're dark skinned. It's just biology. You know what I'm saying? It's just what happens. Species look like their habitat. So it like if you're living at a place where there's a lot of sun, obviously you're gonna be very, very dark skinned. It's just life. It's what it is, There's nothing to it. It's just what happens to the body. The sun gives it rays, melanin builds up, and you become darker. Period. That's just the way the skin is. To me, at the same time, it kind of feels like it might be a sign of immaturity that we can't even understand that the skin, everything in our body, we can't fit. It's something that we're born with. It's just, what would you want to keep? What would you want to change your skin to fit a social standard? It just seems like it's a lot of mental immaturity there. It takes more courage, more guts to be who you are, as you are. No enhancements, nothing. Just you, the raw person. That's courage. If you're going around covering up, bleaching your skin, I don't know, even makeup, We do a lot of covering up. Covering what? Covering your humanness? That doesn't make any sense. It sounds like they're mind fucking us. That's what it sounds like to me. Because it's just nonsense. We're all valuable as we are, as human beings. Of course, we need to be a good example. Of course, we all do. Everybody does. And then we also have like the gay rights and the gay people too, right? That they also like separate themselves. And then if you're like Mexican and gay, or if you're black and gay, like now you're even more different, and it's like a completely different box. It's like more separation. And I do want to take this time to make it clear, like you can be whatever you want to be. Have sex with whoever you want to have sex with. Just be a good person. That's all what we need to do. There shouldn't be nothing against black, nothing against white, nothing against gay, nothing. The only thing that we should be against is actions that don't nurture life. If you're not nurturing life, then something needs to get done. Something needs to get fixed, adjusted. Because if we're causing pain, we're going to cause it, to our people that are around us. It's not a good life. Who wants to live like that anyway? The body is not designed to live in that state. The body will die if it continues to live in a state of anger, in a state of sorrow, in a state of envy. It will die. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for a good life, for a happy life. That's what keeps us alive. That's what gives us energy. It's not just, it's wishful thinking. It's because that's you. No, that's everybody. We're all human. We all do the same our body, everybody's body functions the same way. It's a human body. Nobody's body functions any different. We're all the same. I think also economics and marketing has cashed in on making us all different, because now they have something to sell, something more individual. Instead of, everybody wants to stand out. So it kind of gave them an edge as well, marketing, by separating us because, it kind of gives you a status when you have certain things or when you look a certain way. And it's not cool. It's not cool. It's just messes with people's mental health a lot. I think that's the main issue that happens with that. Colorism is mental illness. Mental illness. It's those kind of colorism thoughts and actions in society. It kind of strips people of their humanity. Now they live in their head all day. It's not even human anymore. It's not healthy. Then depression kicks in, etc., etc. It's just one vicious cycle. And we need to help each other build a safe space for each other so we can grow and be better. Thank you so much for tuning in to TC the G Radio. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. What are your thoughts on this topic of conversation, colorism? I want to know. Comment, like, share, and remember to tune in and show some love every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also connect with me on social media to get more of me and my musical content. I will leave all of my social media and contact info in the video's description. Again, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and for allowing me to share this time with you. Take care. Saludos.